is in stock right now. It's great that a customer can come in and buy a new Honda and drive it home that day. New Honda inventory keeps getting better each month.
Okay, then. How about used cars, Andy?
We have more than 100 pre-owned vehicles to choose from right now, and a lot of fresh trade-ins are coming in daily. We have just about every maker model you can imagine in any price range.
Thanks again, Andy. People love the selection and great service at Honda of Lincoln. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Service Ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Hilriola, the doctor, the Polynesian Bowl. He had a lot of throws. He made a couple nice throws. He threw outs. He threw a deep dig. He threw a slant that went to the house. There were so many different passes that we saw him. And he's got a little quick twitch. Is he fast? No. Quick twitch? Yes. It was good to see him moving around. Listen, he connected with, guess who?
Carter Nelson.
Thank you. We got a chance to see Carter twice. It was good for me to watch that because I think that's a precursor of what's.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three. And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Happy Monday to you and yours from, once again, the San Diego of the Big Ten. That's right, we're back above freezing, and it is glorious. I'm Austin Norman, joined by the Husker Hall of Famer, the 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland, coming off of course, Alumni Weekend. Stricky, did you enjoy yourself this weekend?
Man, I did. Absolutely. Had a wonderful time. It was good to catch up with a lot of the fellas that came back. It was one of those things, had to track down Tom Best up in Chicago and got that done through Pike. I mean, look, they wanted me to give the assist, and, Cheryl made a call and was able to get in touch with Mikey, which was one of the hardest things. He's like finding Dora. And was able to get in touch with Mike. Mike would have actually been here, just got to him a couple days too late before he could really make it happen. But then had Jamar Johnson come on the show with when I was filling in, when you was out with the Supernovas, had Jamar come on, and that was good to at least hear his voice, being that he was locked up and tied up from hip surgery. So it was good. We had Gary Bargan come on and give a few stories and coaching and the experience that he had, and that was pretty cool. And then it was sealed. The deal was sealed. Got to see the POTUS rifle once again do it, win the half-court shot. He made it on the last attempt, and so that stirred up the crowd. So it was pretty good.
Were you rooting for him to make it or miss it?
No, absolutely. I was rooting for him to make it. Yeah.
Even after you had your shot and you didn't make it?
Yeah, no, that's all good.
Respect.
It's one of the hardest things to do. I mean, to come cold. We normally didn't shoot half-court shots until after we'd practiced for the day. It's just something that is not easy to do, is come in all cold and try to heave a shot. It's not easy. So those that do knock it down, that's pretty special. I mean, I'm just glad I hit the rim.
I think the whole building knew he was going to make one of them. They just didn't know which one it was going to be. Did you guys have that same confidence in him on the floor? He put it up and felt good about the shot?
The first one was, a little bit off, I think to the right of the rim, hits the rim. Second one was way off. So then you're like worried. But then when he, because where I was standing, when he launched it, I was like, ooh, that got a chance. And it went in. So we all celebrated that. Man, it was a beautiful moment to see that, especially on that day.
Right.
And then to have Keisei Tamanaga to hit a big one to put them up 5 in that game against Northwestern. That was pretty good. It was a good moment.
We will get to that in just a sec. Big old Big 8 tournament trophy. Saw you holding that thing. Good thing you're back at the gym, because Strick, that thing probably weighs more than I do.
And it's not as heavy as you think.
No.
Yeah, you would be surprised. It's not as heavy as you think.
Nice.
But to get a chance to hold that thing again and reminisce.
Do the memories come flooding back?
It does. It does. And then Danny, you let Danny Nee touch the mic, man. It's gonna be an episode. It's gonna be one. I'm not talking about one. I mean, when you go on Netflix and you binge, or you go and watch one of those shows and it's a mini series. Yeah, it's gonna be a mini series of conversation when Danny Nee touches the mic. So when we were at the dinner, that was what it was, and some of my ex Husker brother was like, "Dang, man, why didn't you just go and tap Danny on the shoulder?" But it's good, man. It's good. It was a good time for him, and I think one of the best moments of it also was one of the things that we never really got to do when we played here. I mean, it was an unwritten rule that you do not go into Barry's. That was Danny's domain. You do not go into Barry's. You can go anywhere up and down O Street.
Plenty of locations.
Plenty of locations.
Not Barry's.
Do not show up at Barry's. And so for us, to go into Barry's, it was all of us in there. I mean, from generations of us in there, to be able to celebrate that time with him. And then some of them got to see Kevin Nee, which Kevin was a little tight. And then, I ran into Badge, and me and Badge was talking. I said, Badge. He walked right by him, didn't even notice. I said, Badge, that's Kevin. He says, what? And then, so those were those kind of moments as well, where Kevin was in there having drinks with us in Barry's. It's crazy.
That's awesome. Of course, best of all, capped off with a win.
Yeah.
Right. We'll take a break. We will talk about how Nebraska was able to get the win over Northwestern, 75-69 the final. What it means, what it says. We'll get into all of that. The big moments, the plays that were made, that weren't made. If you were at the game, if you have a picture from Alumni Weekend, tweet it at us. Either at OnTheBlock937 would be the best spot for it. At Austin_Orman, or of course at eStrick20 on Twitter. Send us your pictures. We'll shout you out here on air. If you have any thoughts on the game too, let us know. 402-464-5685. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter comment sections also available for you as well. We'll take a break, dive into Nebraska Northwestern, the game, and more as we continue hour 1 of On the Block here on a beautiful Monday in the capital city.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Here from early break, the garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
How do people feel about getting Big Fitness Energy at Planet Fitness for $1 down and $10 a month? They feel as thrilled as a kid the first summer they're tall enough to ride the roller coaster! That's right. When you join Planet Fitness right now, you'll get access to tons of equipment and free fitness training in a clean and spacious club. Don't wait. Join the judgment-free zone today for that all-day energy. Download the free Planet Fitness app and join today for $1 down, $10 a month.
Deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
Acres, your premier John Deere dealer, has the largest selection of late model equipment in the Midwest. And for a limited time, Acres is offering low rate financing on all 2021 and 2022 S and X Series combines and 8 Series tractors. Qualified buyers can earn 3.9% financing for 60 months. And as an added bonus for your holiday season, if you purchase one of Acres' eligible machines before December 31st, you'll get a $5,000 gift card from Shields. Go to acres.com to learn more.
It's Pro Time Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, is playing in the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match on January 24th against the Atlanta Vibe at the CHI Health Center. Be a part of history and visit supernovas.com to secure your single match tickets today.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket
every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. Austin Norman, Eric Strickland with you. Strick, text line is asking, did Pike call bank?
No.
Nah, give it to him anyways.
Yeah. I mean, look, however it goes in, that when you're shooting that far, you just want it to go in. So yeah, I'll give him credit for that. I ain't gonna make him call that. Now, if he was driving to the baseline and pulls up and hits, yeah. Now the ones that throw me off is the ones that hit the side of the freaking backboard and they go in. No, that's the one I'm like, there's no way you knew you were trying to do that. Stop it.
Yeah. We also got some pictures from Terry on the text line. Stopped by the station beforehand. Looks like got you to sign a jersey for him. Pretty cool. So Terry, thanks for sending those pictures in. Let's get to the game here, Strick. Nebraska and Northwestern. Blistering first half for the Huskers offensively, shooting 70% from the field. Problem was the turnovers. You and I were sitting by each other watching this game, and you knew Nebraska, with more shots, probably wouldn't shoot 70%. But Strick, Nebraska is getting good look after good look after good look, but they were either getting a shot at the basket or turning it over, and there was no in between.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I mean, when you're shooting that good, you should be blowing a team out, and especially that they weren't shooting overly impressive. I mean, I think they were hovering at some points right at about 48%. Mm-hmm. They dipped down to low 40s and close to 30s. Yeah, that's when you should be blowing. But the issue is they're getting more attempts, more opportunities than you because you're and look, what I always say is you don't mind turnovers. Like, I mean, you do. I mean, you mind them. You just don't want a whole bunch of them. But you want aggressive turnovers. Mm-hmm. You're attacking the rim. You're trying to make the right play. And, okay, somebody just got in a passing lane and they did something, or you saw something. They just made a great effort to get a hand on the ball, which then creates a turnover. That's the issue. But when a team shoots 63 times and you only shoot 47, there's an issue there. And a lot of that had to do with turnovers. Again, you look at Nebraska, where do they win their differentials? Where you see a big differentials, a lot of stuff is common again outside of the shooting. Mm-hmm. But if they can win two areas of differentials, they usually are pretty good. I'm surprised that they lost or they won this game with having a lot of even parts, but the differentials was mostly on the rebound. That just means that Northwestern shot the ball bad. Like if Northwestern has an average day of shooting, Austin, they win that game.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't that they didn't get great looks. Mm-hmm. They got some good looks. It just was off. So that's got to tell Nebraska something. Stop, those sloppy turnovers. It was like you saw upset I was. See, a lot of the fans a lot of the listeners don't get to see how I be feeling when I see some of that foolishness. Like, for example, those one-handed passes from Bryce, get that out your system, my boy. That's not going to happen. That's trying to be cute.
And they weren't even quick. They were telegraphed.
Telegraphed, easy to jump in. You can't pull it back. Once you let that thing go, you can't. So, for example, you're trying to make an entry pass, and you just one-handed. If the guy has an angle and he's got it.
Your guy can read it too.
So what you want to do is you want to get there and have this hand here. So if that person you're going to you can grab it, stop it, pivot, and throw it somewhere else. Mm. So you don't want to just come down and one hand drag it just haphazardly without really seeing what's going on. Jamarcus just kind of coming off. And here's the issue. The problem is you do that in practice so much because the defensive practice isn't going to be to the level that the scout team is going to do the best that they can, but it's not going to be to the intensity that you're going to have on floor. So those passes are open in practice, or you just come off and just sling it. But in games, you can't do that.
And maybe there are some teams that could get away with that because their defensive style is be in passing lanes, pressure the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Nebraska. So not only are you getting a diminished look, it's not the style you're playing anyways. So it's a double whammy that you're not used to it, you're not prepared. But Strick, Nebraska really never settled in with that, right? They never cleaned it up. It was in the first half, but it was in the second half too. It led to that run from Northwestern. Nebraska gets up 11, and Barnhizer, again, perfectly reads that passing lane. He reads the one-handed pass, jumps it, takes it the other way for a dunk, timeout, Nebraska. Nebraska, you thought would have adjusted at some point during that game. They didn't. They kept throwing the one-handed passes. They kept forcing the ball. But to your point, Strick, an average shooting day wins it for Northwestern. The Wildcats went 1 of their last 12 from the floor. And that's the difference. They had 3 or 4 wide open threes that would have given them the lead. 2 of them off of kickouts, off of offensive rebounds. They just flat out missed. So I think it's more than fair to say Nebraska dodged a bullet.
They dodged a bullet. And you escaped. Good. Take advantage of it. But out of this next stretch, Austin, they've got to go get it. Like, I'm not talking about a split. You need 2. If you want to build resume right now, and again, it's that crossroads that we talk about. You're at a crossroads right now. The conversation should be, who do you want to be? NCAA or NIT? It's okay. I mean, I think we have the ability to be something special. If I'm Fred Hoiberg and the staff, I'm looking at my team. I'm like, I have a good team, and I said that. After the game, as frustrated as I was, I still said that's a good team. It's a good team.
It is.
But, and I even told Fred after the game, I said, listen, this is a good team. And he said he spoke to this team about the same thing. Just the ride was so long. Like I said, man, that's got to be a long ride. I said, yeah, that ride back from Rutgers is a mother, right? Just sitting on that, having to go all that way after you just freaking went in and laid an egg, right? Now, where do they want to be? This is what I think these next 2 games is going to tell us a lot of the type of team that they want to be, NCAA bound or NIT.
I'm with you on that. Let's maybe look at some positive things. I mean, Nebraska executed really well in the half court when it wasn't turning the ball over. 26 of 47.
Points in the paint were great.
Yeah. I like how they made
Alec.
I was just going to throw that to you. They made a concerted effort to get the ball to Josiah Alec early. Not a dominant scorer, but Nebraska targeted a matchup and went at it relentlessly. That's what you do. Find a weak spot and just pick at that scab.
Yeah, exactly. And that's and the crazy thing is that's what they're doing on defense. Like Northwestern was doing something very similar on defense, and Northwestern was playing a style that was trying to exploit the strength of what Nebraska's defense is, that's help and recover. And they were looking long, weak. And so
on their drives.
So there are adjustments that were made, which caused them to take challenge shots as opposed to getting a lot of those open looks. I was really surprised at Boo Buie. He didn't seem to be as aggressive. I mean, you could tell their mid-range, they were attacking the mid-range, they were attacking the floaters, and they were hitting a good portion of those. Just wasn't enough.
Right. Buie went, 2 for 15, I think, on the night.
Yeah, he struggled. I was surprised.
Won't happen again. Ty Berry, 2 of 10, not great. Langborg was hot early. Brooks Barnhizer had a pretty good game. But Strick, I don't think that the absence of Juwan Gary was necessarily felt in this one, right? Maybe he guards Barnhizer and limits him a little bit, but Nebraska shouldn't have needed Juwan Gary in this game, right? He wouldn't have added much, I think, in terms of the passing, right? He's not a guy that has the ball in his hands a lot to make those reads. And Nebraska dominated rebounding, at least the margin, right? They won it by 14, 32-15 on the defensive glass. Did give up 11 offensive rebounds, which is too many against a not huge, not overly athletic Northwestern front court. But of course, the shot of the game, Keisei Tominaga. Nebraska's up by 2 points at 71-69. Strick, I don't know if you can overstate just how big a shot that was from Keisei. It had been like 4 or 5 possessions that Nebraska struggled in the half court, dribbling into traffic, throwing up a couple one-footed runners and bad shots. I don't think Nebraska deserved to have that shot go in, but that's why you go get Keisei Tominaga.
Yeah. I wish I had a nickname from him. The Japanese bonsai. I don't know. I mean, where he bombed, the Japanese kamikaze. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Kamikaze Keisei?
Kamikaze Keisei. That's a good one. I like that. Kamikaze K, because he's known for that. I mean, that's this ain't that wasn't a one-off. Like,
no,
he's now come to the realization that when there's a big shot that's needed, he's capable. Now, I will say in the game prior to that, he could have did a little bit more. It was a little bit, but I understand what he was trying to do. The guy had his hands on his hip. Normally that's a foul if you've got good refs in the game. A guy has his hand on the hip. He raises. You try to take it off. So Keisei tried to sell it and didn't get the sell. So obviously most referees, they don't have the sack to call that. You know what I mean? Like, you literally, by film, justification, by rule, you can literally justify that call. Coaches ain't going to like it, but guess what? It's on the road. Most referees don't have big sack. Hear what I'm saying? I've been a referee now. I'm saying this because I've had to I'll give you an example. I was in a big playoff game. I want to say it was Waxahachie against DeSoto in Texas.
That's a big one.
It was a big playoff game, right? And my trail referee, now I understood the situation. I'm the center referee in this particular situation. Now, I'm talking about big sack. Now, you got to understand what I'm saying. It's the game is at Waxahachie. It's at home. DeSoto is the visiting team. They have the ball, okay? They need, Waxahachie's down to DeSoto, but they need a 3 to tie.
Waxahachie needs a 3.
Waxahachie at home needs a 3 to tie. Okay. So the trail referee, I know the situation, and I know he don't have the speed to get there to really. So I'm making sure I'm in position to see everything that transpires. He gets it. He comes down. He sets his feet. The guys flare off. He's by himself. He takes a step in, puts his foot over the line. I see the whole thing. My guy, that's the trail, don't.
Whose call it should be.
He don't see it. He comes down, don't see it, raises for 3. And I'm looking at him like, no. Basically, I'm like trying to get his attention. No. And then he shoots it, makes it.
Kansas.
Crowd goes wild, thinking they tied the game, right? And I have to come in, beep, 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 beep. No. 2. And they go crazy. They're mad.
Ricky, what are you talking about?
Coaches is mad. We run off. I said, no, 2. And they run off, and the coach goes livid at the door, kind of like Danny Nee was, I told you, at Missouri.
Yep.
They're at the door, and he's upset. And they called me, my supervisors. They call Stricky. They say, well, I hear there was a controversy at the game. What did you see? Listen, it was a 2. And you can go look on film and justify. I didn't even have to define. I saw what I saw. It's a 2, and you go justify it. Now, the guy wanted to come into me and say, let's just, we call it a 3, and we just go into overtime. I'm like, nah, bro. I'm not. No, there's ethics in this thing. I'm not doing that just for that. So I waved him off. I told my partner, I'm not going for that. Guess what? Coach was mad. But he called me later and said, you know what, man, I went back and watched the tape, and it was. Now, similar to that same thing, Keisei and referee by rule could have called it, but he didn't have a sack to do it. That's the problem. But unfortunately, it doesn't matter. I think you still got to give him a better look if you're Keisei in that situation.
I'm with you on that. The reffing of that game was not my favorite.
It wasn't the best. Yeah.
It wouldn't have been the reason Nebraska lost. They had plenty of opportunities they didn't take advantage of, but it sure seemed like Alec was pushed outside of his sphere more than a few times, bodied up in the post. Seemed like there was a lot of that contact on the perimeter. And then Nebraska on defense, maybe they were fouls, but they were a lot lighter, a lot looser in terms of the contact than on Nebraska's offensive end.
Yeah. That's that homie. That's that homie lover friend type of thing. That can happen, and sometimes referees fall a victim to that, and it's a natural thing. It's one of those things that does happen. I don't like it. This is probably why I don't referee anymore, because some of the politics involved in it I just didn't like, but it does happen.
75-69, Nebraska gets the win over Northwestern. Tomorrow night, they welcome the Buckeyes of Ohio State in town. And that's convenient because we're going to be talking about Ohio State to wrap up Hour 1. Not the men's team, but the women's team. They knock off Iowa, and they knock down Caitlin Clark. What happened?
Literally.
What do we think about it? We'll break that down to wrap up Hour 1 of On the Block.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action. The Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Hello, everybody. It's Charlie Stone, and here with me is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I hear that new Honda manufacturing continues to go up, and you have new Hondas in stock now.
That's correct, Charlie. We have more than 40 new Hondas in stock right now. It's great that a customer can come in and buy a new Honda and drive it home that day. New Honda inventory keeps getting better each month.
Okay, then. How about used cars, Andy?
We have more than 100 pre-owned vehicles to choose from right now, and a lot of fresh trade-ins are coming in daily. We have just about every maker model you can imagine in any price range.
Thanks again, Andy. People love the selection and great service at Honda of Lincoln. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. And Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Liberty Law Group is committed to the defense of your liberty in pursuit of your justice for those that have been injured. My name is Matt Knight, attorney with Liberty Law Group. If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, call 877-42-LIBERTY. Our relentless trial attorneys are committed to the highest quality legal representation. At Liberty Law Group, we will fight for you. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Once again, that's 877-42-LIBERTY.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back, wrapping up hour one of On the Block. Austin Norman, Eric Strickland with you. 2 to 4 weekdays. Thanks to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul for sponsoring the show. Ohio State, the men's team, comes to town to take on Nebraska. Be tomorrow night at 6 o'clock here at PBA. But the Ohio State women's team, Strick, in Columbus, Value City Arena, knocked off the Iowa Hawkeyes and knocked down Caitlin Clark during the court storm. I know there are a lot of people in Nebraska who are going to say Caitlin Clark extended her arms and flopped and she was the aggressor. I'm not so sold on that. I think it was just incidental contact. Neither one of them, Caitlin Clark or the female fan that hit her, neither one of them, I didn't think were really looking where they were going. It happens. I know I'm not in Caitlin Clark's shoes. I don't know how it felt to get hit like that. The fan did bounce up a lot sooner than Caitlin Clark did, which I thought was funny. But the discussion that I want to have is about court storming, right? We heard Matt Painter bring up some comments after Nebraska beat Purdue. We heard Lisa Bluter, the coach of Iowa, say, what are we doing? My players can't be getting injured, which that's a stretch. Caitlin Clark was not injured during this court storm. But it cracks me up that we're still looking for ways to legislate court storming and field storming out of college sports. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Put the players in plexiglass with like poke holes on top so they can breathe? You don't have enough security in the world to make this not happen. So I don't understand why we continue to have this debate about stopping, court and field storming.
Well, again, listen, I don't know. I halfway like him, but I halfway don't. Sometimes I'm like Matt Painter, stop being a little. No wonder your team continuously is a top 10 team and you continuously get knocked out of the tournament. And why I bet against you last year is because
call of the century, by the way.
Huh?
Call of the century by you, by the way.
Man, I mean, I called when they was going out.
Talk about cojones.
2 weeks ago, basically, Matt Painter calls the Big Ten. He calls the Big Ten office and he says, "Hey, we need to be better prepared for court storms." He made a comment after the Nebraska. I don't like it. I don't like this court storm. I mean, a guy's going to get hurt. If they ain't going to get hurt, it's the fans going to get hurt because the players are going to, and listen, that can happen. Those things can happen. Again, there's just not enough staff for that. You want to pay for it? Purdue? You willing to, chip into the Big Ten and, spend a little bit of cashola to get out there and do it? No. So my thing is, it's going to happen. There's a way to go about it. Just kind of get your players to the side. Because here's the thing. If Matt Painter was in the opposite side of the spectrum, he would love for that to happen if he was to knock off the top 2 or 3 team in the country. He would be excited for his team in doing that. So he wouldn't be calling the Big Eight, the Big Ten office and, hey, we just won this big game and, hey, fans, we didn't want y'all to storm the court or get on a mic and be mad. Hey, don't do it. Don't storm. No. So that's the part that I don't like about it. Now, I love Caitlin Clark's response.
Mm-hmm.
I can appreciate Caitlin Clark's response, but Lisa Bluter's response
kind of painter-ish.
kind of very painter-ish, right? Yeah. You don't, no, you're salty. You're salty. You got mopped up by a team that you probably thought you should have beat.
Mm-hmm.
And they stormed the court and you're mad about it. Okay. Go home, take your L, come back and get it done next time. So that's the way I feel about it.
I'm with you. The other thing that I think is silly is that one of the big calls is too, well, why can't the fans wait until the other team's players are off the court? That completely does away with the whole excitement of the moment. If you have to wait till the other team's off the court, what if they have to double back and do that? What if someone, leaves something on the bench? What if someone's just kind of moping around, not getting in the handshake line? Part of it is, yeah, you lost. You should probably want to get off the floor because they're coming, but stuff happens. People get in the way. People don't get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the joy of college sports is being able to, have that experience. Like imagine a field storming or a court storming in the pros. Can you imagine that at a pro arena?
No. Not unless you won the championship.
And even then.
Yeah.
Even then we haven't seen it in the pros.
Haven't seen it.
No.
Right. It's just not, it's not a thing that's for that. I don't even think it's a thing in the NFL.
No, it's not.
No. So I don't know, man.
I make good choices. That's what it comes down to. Court storming is not a bad choice. Well, there was an incident too in Memphis Tulane, where one of Tulane's fans pushed one of the Memphis players after the win. And that's just stupid, like completely unprompted, uncalled for shove. But that's completely different than what happened to Caitlin Clark on the road at Ohio State. 7938 says Stricky has a good white guy voice.
Oh, yeah?
At least a good Matt Painter impression.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I can do it every now and then. I don't know if I can actually set it up, but I can do it every now. I thought my voice right now sounds very, Caucasianish. No, it doesn't.
That's why you got future in acting.
I have a crazy raspy voice. My voice sounds terrible. I don't have the good pretty radio voice like you, Austin.
It's all that gritty competitor yelling on an NBA court, right?
That's where it comes from.
It sounds great. We appreciate you lending us your vocal cords. We appreciate you listeners, you blockheads, lending us your ears here for On the Block. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we will start the hour off diving into the NFL playoffs. 4 games to get to, plenty of headlines and takeaways. And then at 3:30, we'll have Brian Munson of Husker Online join the show. And then we'll recap a big junior day with him. A lot of intriguing prospects and offers on the table. So stick with us here in hour 2 of On the Block. Our show brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. He's Strick. I'm Austin. Back with more in a minute.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox, KFXL Weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting cloudy skies with patchy fog developing later. We'll see a high of around 35. Tonight, a chance of wintry mixed fog and freezing fog expected too. We'll see a low of around 30. And tomorrow, more cloud cover with calm winds. We'll see a high of around 35. Meteorologist Kyle Tucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Acres, your premier John Deere dealer, has the largest selection of late model equipment in the Midwest. And for a limited time, Acres is offering low-rate financing on all 2021 and 2022 S and X Series combines and 8 Series tractors. Qualified buyers can earn 3.9% financing for 60 months. And as an added bonus for your holiday season, if you purchase one of Acres' eligible machines before December 31st, you'll get a $5,000 gift card from Shields. Go to acres.com to learn more.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
John Henry's would like to remind you, if you haven't already, to unhook your outdoor hoses and check faucets for leaks so your pipes don't freeze. As the official plumber of the Huskers, you know who to call when a plumbing issue arises. From frozen pipes to clogged drains, we can help you protect your home this winter. Give John Henry's a call today to schedule at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome back to On the Block. Strick and Austin Orman here in the building on this wonderful and listen, let me tell you this. It is Monday, but it has been so cold, Austin, that when I stepped outside today, even though it's in the, it was in the upper 20s, 30s, it felt like it was 50.
It felt like a different continent.
Right? Like it had been so cold that when it's so cold that 20s and 30s feel like it's a 70-day, 60, 50-day, that's something different. That's a
You've been
different
going
type of
through
cold,
it. It's
right?
been brutal.
So here's the thing. Games happened divisional round. Couple of them that were good, couple of them not so good. Shout out still to the Houston Texans for getting there, because that is something that was probably unexpected, and not many people believed that was even possible for them to arrive. Got blew out by the Baltimore Ravens, but listen, Baltimore Ravens were the number 1 seed. They were that good for a reason. 34-10 was the score. Very efficient for Lamar. 100 yards, 152 yards passing, but his passer rating was absolutely phenomenal because he was efficient in it. 16 for 22 with 2 TDs. But his rushing, 11 rushes, he led in rushing, and that's where the domination happened. On the ground, there was nothing that the Texans could do about it. Total domination. Can anybody even stop that at this point?
You know, Lamar gets his first. You say Lamar gets his first win in the divisional round. I'm not team quarterback wins, right? It's got to be a team effort. And Baltimore is an incredibly well-rounded team. I thought they really controlled the first half streak, except the punt return touchdown, right? They kick it to Houston. Houston takes it back the distance for 7 points. So they're tied at halftime, but you felt like Baltimore had played better. What that tells you is one of two things. Either Baltimore's going to let Houston hang around, and make this closer than it should be at the end and maybe win, or the floodgates are about to open. It was definitely the latter there. Houston, like you said, was unable to stop the run. Lamar, the leading rusher for not just Baltimore, but for the game, 11 carries, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns there. The way you beat Lamar, supposedly, is to keep him in the pocket. Well, Lamar's been a top 10 quarterback in the league in the pocket, and he showed that. 16 of 22, those 2 touchdowns you mentioned, that's huge. Justice Hill gets in on the action, 5 yards per carry. Gus Edwards, 4 yards per carry. And Dalvin Cook, let's not forget that he's a member of the Ravens now. Now, not a different Dalvin Cook. Yes, that Dalvin Cook.
That one.
Is a member of the Baltimore Ravens, got some action, 8
That's
carries
a
for
4-headed
23 yards.
chimera.
Oh, it's insane.
Right?
Yeah.
At any given time, any of those guys can go nuts. Yeah.
Oh, and they didn't have Mark Andrews. Sorry, Mark Andrews, they're really good tight end. It was good to see Zay Flowers continue to do his thing, Rashad Bateman, Isaiah Likely. These Ravens have weapons, Strick, and that's been kind of one of the other knocks on the Ravens is that maybe their skill guys are good, maybe they're not, but the scheme hasn't allowed them to flourish. You look at what Todd Monken has done for that offense. He was an NFL coordinator before he went down to Georgia for the national championship run, goes back to the NFL with the Ravens. He did a great job. He's always liked throwing the deep ball. Houston did a pretty good job taking that away, though. So Lamar got comfortable with more of the checkdowns and the intermediate stuff. But the flip side of the ball really defined the game for me. CJ Stroud didn't look the same. He looked a little rattled. He looked a little unsure of himself. And we know Baltimore has a lot of great talent on the defensive side of the ball. But I think Mike McDonald called a really solid game, taking away, for the most part, what it was that Houston wanted to do through the air.
Yeah.
And making CJ Stroud look like the rookie quarterback that he is. That's been a challenge. But in both games against the Ravens, the Texans didn't put up an offensive touchdown. So maybe McDonald has Stroud's number. Coming from Michigan, I'm sure he has the Connor Stallion signs in there, somewhere in his back pocket, helping out at the same time. Hardy har. But that's a big credit to that Ravens defense. It's been top 5 in the NFL, top 3 in the NFL, basically all season long. But good on Houston, right? No, it wasn't their best performance. They kind of ran out of gas. They ran out of answers, more specifically. But they look like a scary team in the AFC South. If they can keep Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator, this is first, big boy job as offensive coordinator. He didn't have answers in this one, an offseason to work with CJ Stroud. I think Houston can be around for a while to come.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Let's move on to another game that just, it was okay. A lot of scoring, but listen, it came down to me. It came down to one play, and it was the Baker Mayfield. Had the ball, driving. You're down 8. I understood what he was looking for. Linebacker got great depth.
Great depth.
And just happened to be right and made a great play.
Mhm.
You probably thought that he wasn't going to have that much depth, but you've got to think time situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is most things you're going to try to do in that situation is you're going to try to go over the middle, get something,
get a chunk,
and the linebacker knew that too.
Yeah.
Knew you weren't running the ball. I mean, okay, you run a draw, but you don't want time running, so therefore he got depth, got up under the receiver. I think it was the tight end, and made a great play. 2 interceptions. You still come up short. Shout out to the Lions for getting it done, though.
Absolutely. They confused Tampa Bay with some unique pressures I don't think they'd seen before. Had a lot of unblocked rushers, whether it was Aiden Hutchinson a couple times, which is not a guy you want to leave unblocked, or even, nickels and safeties creeping down and changing their assignments at the line of scrimmage. Tampa Bay, I don't think was fully ready for everything that Aaron Glenn, Jay's boy, defensive coordinator for the Lions, had dialed up to throw at him. But a pretty darn efficient offensive performance from the Lions, too. I mean, Goff was solid, steady, like a perfectly Kirk Cousins game, I think. I mean, 30 of 43, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns for him. Well, 287, you lose 10 yards on the sacks. But they ran it for 4 yards a carry. Jahmyr Gibbs was really solid. Montgomery had his moments, too.
Especially late.
It's weird to say Detroit took care of business in a playoff game. But that's what I think they did. I mean, it was tied after the first quarter, tied at halftime, tied after the third quarter. Detroit, finally does put up those 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. The Buccaneers just get those 6 points. But it felt very businesslike for Detroit, which is kind of weird because this is one of the more exciting moments in recent franchise history. They're back in the NFC Championship game for the first time in 32 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't just win 1 playoff game. Now they get 2. That should be huge for Detroit, but it all felt so workmanlike. And I think that should be a good sign for them moving forward.
Yeah. And listen, I'm going to throw this out because we're going to go a little bit deeper into the next 2 matchups, but 2 targets, 2 for 32 for Trey Palmer, a 23 for a long 16-yard average. I thought they should have went to him more. Gave him a couple more targets.
He woke up pissed off and they didn't give him the ball.
Yeah. He looked good on the catches that he did make for him. I thought they probably should have went to him a little bit, especially with Chris Godwin struggling a little bit, wasn't able to get separation, targeted 8 times, but only 4 catches. I think they probably should have looked his way a little bit more, but, again, I don't know if they have the kind of trust that they had, but big plays from the right people. Definitely for, Sam Laporta came up big for the Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown made a couple of big fourth quarter catches for them. So yeah, I think it was just solid all around. And you're right. The run game, if the run game can get you, as you said, over 100 yards, then you're giving yourself a great opportunity to win. And they did so.
Before we move on, I have a couple things from the text line here.
Yeah.
Some people are pointing out that Levante David didn't say that he went to Nebraska. He mentioned the community college that he went to before Nebraska.
Because if you don't graduate, I think isn't it something like that? If you don't graduate, it goes back to, well, no, why didn't he mention
But
it?
I think he said Nebraska before. I think it's a nothing burger, right? We haven't heard any controversy, scandal behind the scenes or anything. Sometimes guys just like to give a shout out to other places, right? I mean, regardless of who you are, we've seen even bigger names than Levante David go back to their high school instead of their
I've
college,
seen that
right?
happen,
So
yeah.
it's not a big deal. It's nothing. I don't think Levante David hates Nebraska.
No, I've seen him.
all of a
He's
sudden.
come back.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
think it's all fine.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, I don't know, but I do know that sometimes it has something to do with whether or not you graduated or your time there. But you're right; he was here long enough that it would have been in Nebraska. But like you said, it could have just been a shout out thing. Giving a little highlight to the program which he came from as well. Let's go on now. The couple of matchups that I thought were pretty good. This it actually surprised me, to be honest. I didn't think this game would be this close, but shout out. It just really came down to the defense stopping Green Bay. I mean, because they ran off 15 in the third, looked like they were on their way to getting it done, and then just kind of got shut out in the fourth. But shout out to Aaron Jones. He's looked phenomenal. He's really helped that team because the way that he's been running over the last 7 games has really given Jordan Love something to kind of settle him in a little bit. Like, he didn't do as well as he's done in the past. A couple turnovers that really hurt, because it's crucial that you don't turn the ball over against a team like, the 49ers.
Right.
But that did happen. Now, Brock Purdy was okay. It wasn't nothing great about it. Christian McCaffrey did what Christian McCaffrey does. Found George Kittle for a touchdown. It just was okay. The big thing in that game, I think, Austin, the loss of Deebo Samuels. Now we got to just assess whether or not he'll come back. I think that's going to be big as they move on into the next round, but we'll see how that plays out. What was your initial take on that game?
I'm going to start with the Packers fans in my life who were thrilled to be playing for a shot to go to the NFC Championship, but still heartbroken, right? I mean, they weren't just happy to be there, but kind of they were at the same time. I mean, youngest team in the league. We've talked about that a few times with Green Bay, and in position to win. You're up a touchdown going into the fourth quarter. That would have been so many playoff demons exercised if they were able to get that one done on the road. The interception late, not great from Jordan Love, and he knew it after the game, right? It's not, oh yeah, this is what I saw, I'll make that throw every time. He called it a mortal sin. So he knows that he's not supposed to make that throw, but you can understand, Strick, a young quarterback on a heater, taking that chance, trying to make something happen. Aaron Jones was spectacular. I like the Packers game plan too, but you saw just the depth of talent for San Francisco, I think, win out in the end. You mentioned the loss of Deebo Samuel. If he's back next week, I don't have that many concerns. And you would think that an offense as loaded as they are, with McCaffrey, with Kittle, good wide receiver depth, the loss of Deebo Samuel wouldn't be that big a deal. But I think you're seeing just how important Deebo is, like the skeleton key that unlocks so much of what San Francisco does. Not just what he can do, in what we think of him as, in the short routes, intermediate routes, and then yards after the catch. Deebo's got some deep threat to him. You can use him out of the backfield. You can target him specifically against so many different matchups because he's going to be probably better than the guy guarding him at something. Can you find out what that something is? And Brock Purdy, I don't think we learned anything about him. If you're all aboard the Brock Purdy train, you're the conductor, choo-choo. You're like, hey, look at him. He's got the clutch gene. Montana 2.0. He didn't have it all day. He dug deep and found it late. Okay, you can make that point. Or you can say, he got bailed out, right? Kittle had the bad drop, but had a stellar game otherwise. This was a McCaffrey game, running for almost 6 yards per carry. We didn't learn anything about Brock Purdy in this one.
No.
We almost learned that Kyle Shanahan doesn't have it in big games. We almost did.
Right.
But the Niners survive. They advance, and now they get to, host the NFC Championship game, which I think is big for them. I don't think that, they would be too phased by going on the road, but especially with Deebo Samuel, questionable. I like having this game at home to save some wear and tear on him for that game on Sunday.
No doubt about it. I want to shout out to Juwan Jennings because I think he was huge. He was huge for them filling in for Deebo Samuels and, 5 out of 6 targets, to get 61 yards and just to make other plays. So it didn't, you weren't able to just really focus on Ayuk or Kittle or anybody in particular, but that did help. And listen, when you have a guy as good as Christian McCaffrey to be able to come out of the backfield and make things happen, both in the run and in the pass game, it's always a valuable asset to have. Let's go into the game, I think, of the night, and that was Kansas City. Look, Kansas City was getting ran through. It looked like they were going to go down, but the Bills they get killed by wide right once again. I mean, that's just talk about hurting your heart and your spirit. It's not only that you lose the game, but you're there. You did everything you needed to kind of take the game to the next phase. You're in that same situation again. This time the rules work in your favor. It's not one who gets it. The rules are in your favor for this. You're there to kick a field goal, and you're wide right once again. Man.
And this is after I think you dial up the right play for the touchdown shot.
Oh, it was there.
It was there.
Yeah.
It was there.
You had a guy on the dig, too, on the backside that was there also. You had 2 options. Yeah, and you missed it. happen to got just your tackle just kind of gets back into your face just enough to stop you from making a complete throw.
Buffalo could have won that game so many times.
Oh,
That
my gosh.
play, obviously the field goal, and you like their chances in overtime. I mean, they would have probably scored last. But the Chiefs, I mean, the bomb to Diggs, right? With like 8.5 minutes to go. If he catches that, you score early, and all you have to do is hold Kansas City off. I get the Kansas City scored 27 points, but it wasn't necessarily an inspiring 27 points. But on that same token, Strick, Kansas City tried to lose that game 14 different times. Andy Reid, I have some concerns about. I don't care that he's won 2 Super Bowls right now. The goal line to go play calls to Mecole Hardman instead of Pacheco. What are we doing? Even the decision to punt. Why do you take the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands? Yeah, it's gutsy, but he's Patrick Mahomes, right? I really feel like the defense stepped up in a key moment or two for Kansas City. They didn't jump on that fumble by Allen, right? That would have basically iced the game, it feels like. Kansas City missed a lot of opportunities and still won this game. So if you're Buffalo, like, they just have your number. Like, you are legitimately cursed because you played well enough to win that game. You had everything you wanted right there at home, but Patrick Mahomes owns your franchise.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, that's what it comes down to at this point. Like, what's the other answer?
Man, that's the part that I mean, you finally flip the script and you get a home game against your nemesis, and you basically fumbled the ball away once again.
I tweeted this out, Strick, from the On The Block account. It's at On The Block 93.7 for those of you who, for whatever reason, still aren't following it. Go check it out there on Twitter. I posted a poll just asking, how do you feel about the Chiefs? I'm a fan and I love them. I'm not a fan, but I enjoy them. I'm not a fan and I'm tired of them, and I hate them. Half of the respondents are fans and love them. The other half are not a fan and I'm tired of them, or I hate them. There's not a single person who's answered who said they're not a Chiefs fan, but they enjoy watching them, which is the boat I'm in. Like, I'm a Colts fan. We've been over that.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the Kansas City Chiefs. I like watching greatness. I like Mahomes. I like the creativity of Reid. Mahomes and Kelsey tying Brady and Gronk, and then I think passing them for most touchdowns between a quarterback and tight end in the postseason.
I like Pacheco.
Pacheco's fun.
That sucker, man, just runs harder than anybody I see outside of Christian McCaffrey.
The defense didn't give up a play longer than 20 yards. Yeah. So, yes, to some degree, I would like it to be my Colts instead of the Chiefs, dominating the AFC. But I think about the Chiefs, Strick, very similarly to the Kevin Durant era Warriors, right? I know everyone hates them. Oh, they paid to win. It was cheap. They had to go get Durant to do all of that. Strick, I loved those teams. I loved watching those teams. What they did on offense, their unique style of defense that they had to play to get away with playing that style of offense. I'm in that same boat with Mahomes and these Chiefs. Like, no, I'm not a fan. No, I won't root for them, over the Colts. But yeah, they're fun to watch, and I'm glad we get to see more of Kansas City.
Yeah, there it is. Great run. We're going into the championship round now, AFC and the NFC championship. Real quick before we get to our next break, Austin, which matchup are you most excited about, and who do you think or expect? I put some futures out there.
Ooh,
I put some futures out there.
Okay,
I'll tell you what it is after I hear from you. But what matchup are you most excited about seeing, and who do you expect to see in the Super Bowl?
The matchup I'm more excited for is in the AFC. Baltimore, Kansas City, two MVPs. You get Reid versus McDonald. You get Monken versus Spagnuolo. And, for those people that don't like the Chiefs, Baltimore has some really good history on its side that we'll get to later in the week as we preview it. They're a clear favorite, and they should be. But you get a clear favorite, a pretty dominant team in Baltimore.
Can they run like that against Kansas City?
Pissed off petty Mahomes? You get that run game against the Kansas City run game that was gashed. Baltimore won't abandon the run. I don't think Kansas City, will jump out on Baltimore necessarily. I love the meeting of the minds there. I think it should be a good coaching matchup too in San Francisco versus Detroit. Shanahan, the analytical brain, the play calling versus Campbell's just real down-to-earth personality and humility, getting that team to rally. The coordinator matchups, I mean, I love Johnson and Glenn for the Lions. I just feel so much more confident in picking San Francisco. So give me San Francisco, and jury's out for my AFC pick right now.
I'm actually rooting for the Lions. Shout out to Tim Grayman, my boy Tim Grayman. He's been wanting this for a while. Like, just here's remember, I'm the underdog king.
You are.
And,
you do be.
And I'm just literally looking for the Lions just because the Detroit Pistons have been so horrible. The Lions are probably the shining star of the city at this particular time.
Red Wings or whatever, Tigers
You
are
know
mad.
what I mean? And look, the city has just been decimated in so many ways. And I think it would be a good light. Now listen, San Francisco to me has become atrophy to my soul. So yeah, they're doing, Golden State is kind of down, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Give in their blue blood program, give it to a team that's really had to wear the bags with the teary eyes all dang their life. They're outside of the New Orleans Saints. They've got to be one of the next teams that had Megatron and Barry and just couldn't break. Man, I would just love to see. I think it would
Stafford,
be so good.
Sue.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my take on it. But my futures I put on though, San Francisco and Ravens.
Respect.
Yeah, just throw it out there.
Makes sense.
We'll see how it goes. But we'll see how it goes on the next segment. Are we going to have the B
Brian
Months?
Munson.
The B Months is going to join us on the next segment. We're here. It is 93.7 The Ticket on the block. We'll be right back with Brian Munson. Wrap this.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Blecker and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Liberty Law Group is committed to the defense of your liberty in pursuit of your justice for those that have been injured. My name is Matt Knight, attorney with Liberty Law Group. If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, call 877-42-LIBERTY. Our relentless trial attorneys are committed to the highest quality legal representation. At Liberty Law Group, we will fight for you. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Once again, that's 877-42-LIBERTY.
It's pro time, Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, are about to hit the court. Mark your calendars for January 24th at 7 p.m. when we host the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match against the Atlanta Vibe at the CHI Health Center. Witness world-class talent, including national champions and Olympians. Don't wait. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com and become a part of history.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
John Henry's would like to remind you, if you haven't already, to unhook your outdoor hoses and check faucets for leaks so your pipes don't freeze. As the official plumber of the Huskers, you know who to call when a plumbing issue arises. From frozen pipes to clogged drains, we can help you protect your home this winter. Give John Henry's a call today to schedule at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the block. Austin Norman, Eric Strickland. We turn our attention to our VIP line brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We welcome in Brian Munson of Husker Online, keeping us up to date on all things recruiting. Husker Online, part of the On3 network. Brian, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Glad to hear it. Yeah, doing well here, too. Lots to get to when it comes to recruiting in Nebraska. But before we do that, Brian, I know you're our high school guy, but I want to talk transfer portal with you here for just a sec. And across the river, Caden Proctor enters the transfer portal from Alabama, starts 14 games for the SEC champs, ends up at Iowa. I don't think that was much of a shock to many people. But Brian, he made the comment about how Iowa reached out to him mid-season even when he was struggling, and they stuck with him. Is that not the textbook definition of tampering, or does it depend on who the they is that reached out to Caden Proctor?
Well, to me, it is. I think the fact that somebody said this, and it's on a record someplace that, he stated there was some sort of an existing relationship and that he had been struggling, and there was some sort of a, care kind of message to kind of make sure he was taking care of himself, and that he was, kind of, giving him some confidence or whatever. I think that there's a little bit of a gray area around those types of sentences and types of statements. I know Malachi Coleman has said something similar about staying in touch with Deion Sanders in Colorado earlier on. It's a weird process. Relationships, begin, and then all of a sudden they're just supposed to, kind of just end, just very, very quickly and suddenly with the commitment or the signing of a piece of paper. And I think for like a thing with Proctor, particularly is he left the state to kind of go someplace else to kind of take a chance on himself and take a look after something. And that group that was back there, in the home state, probably still felt some sort of a connection to them and him, and there was probably some back and forth anyway. So I personally, the way it reads to me, I would view that as tampering. Look, I always kind of view it as, if you wouldn't involve the NCAA, on the phone call with you, three-way call, then you've got something to hide. Mm. And I'm very, very sure that Proctor in Iowa wouldn't have wanted the NCAA to kind of listen in on those conversations, whether it was just hypothetical or it was just straight outright come back home kind of thing. So, but I do believe that was a slip up. And I don't think the NCAA, though, however, I'm not envisioning or thinking that they're going to do anything about it. So.
I don't bring that up to be a hater. It was kind of weird that kind of went under the radar, that, it seemed like he said there was tampering going on, essentially. Obviously, it worked out for him and for Iowa in the end. But on the Nebraska side of things then, Brian, one of the guys that might go up against the 6'8", 360-pound behemoth in the future, Jordan Ochoa, an edge rusher out of Colorado, commits to Nebraska last week. What do you make of that commitment?
Yeah, it's a preferred walk-on. I mean, he's not going to hit the 85 yet. He's a guy that, had been picking up some Division I interest. Had actually committed to Wyoming and then backed off his commitment at the end of September. Kind of bet on himself, believed in the process, had a couple of schools at least, kind of keeping tabs on him through the month of January, Nebraska and Colorado State. I think that there would have been several others, based on like just I'd say his training regimen, just how much he was working out, how much his training, his trainer was kind of working for him, to kind of, get him out there, get him some free pub, have some positive things to talk about with him. I think that Ochoa is a very interesting dude. Number one, he's from the state. He's originally from Gering, Nebraska. His dad, originally from Sydney, went down to Nebraska Kearney and played there. He was a defensive tackle, so played the same position as me, but he was a few years younger. But then again, there's not many people that aren't. And I think that Jordan is an interesting dude because he kind of reminds me body style, kind of, I'm not going to sit there and tell you that he's the exact same dude, but kind of a Cameron Lenhart. Think about Cameron Lenhart and the ability to kind of move him up and down between a 2-point and a 3-point. The guy that was, playing a 3 technique in high school at IMG, when realistically Nebraska was kind of looking at him to play, 2-point, edge rusher, pin your ears back. And then also could kind of move down, slide down, get a little lighter, get a little more active, maybe put a pass rush group together, when it comes to a set. But I think they're very similar sized. I think that Lenhart obviously has got some really special tools, but I think Ochoa is the kind of guy that he wanted an opportunity. And I think when you always give those guys a chance and they're betting on themselves, typically the results will get there. And I think that that's something to kind of remember with him. So I think it's one of those things that there's a lot of potential, a lot of upside for Nebraska. And obviously they got a guy that's very motivated and determined.
Which seems to fit what Matt Rule wants, right? That developmental kind of prospect that wants to bet on themselves. We go from that, Brian, to a bunch of big names in town for Nebraska over this past weekend with a huge junior day. What were some of your biggest headlines from this weekend in Husker recruiting?
Let's see. I think the one that was maybe the most surprising, and look, I think Christian Jones is a special dude.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is going to be really tough to keep home. I know I've said that now for the last 2 years between Coleman, and Carter Nelson. I think that both those guys had enough attention and some big time attention to kind of go ahead and get up and lead. Christian Jones is going to have a ton of suitors, and he is going to take all of the visits that he can, and he is going to make a very educated guess or a decision. But it's going to require him to go to a lot of different places and take a lot of trips. People are going to be very uncomfortable with the number one guy in the state doing that. That being said, I'm going to go introduce to you the very close number 2 player in the state, in my opinion, right now, Chase Lofton. Chase Lofton is going to make some people very uncomfortable as well. He is headed to USC this weekend, and the weekend after he's going to Alabama. So those 2 schools have not offered him yet, but they are. That tells you enough. If he feels like he needs to go out there and take a look at it, then that tells you basically everything that you need to know about the seriousness. And if they did decide to come through with an offer, like what it could mean to him potentially. He's also talking about visits down to Texas Tech and other places after that later in the spring. Look, the Millard South guys are kind of blowing up. The Isaac Jensen sophomore picked up an offer from Iowa State, and then Nebraska had to follow for him. I think that there's going to be a couple other guys that are going to be very, very busy in the coming months and year, or so before, they start getting a lot of offers as well. Chase Lofton was a big story because of all the stuff he had kind of going on. I think that you get like a guy like Cortez Mills and an Isaiah Mose, the top 2 wide receivers in town, the 2025 class. Jaden Woods had a lot of great things to say. That's an edge rusher from Shawnee, Kansas. He's another guy that had plenty of good things to say. There are still some guys, headliners, that I would, started texting with and just kind of couldn't get enough information to kind of get an update with, like Nick Brooks. He was obviously there from Cedar Rapids. That's the former Iowa commitment, the offensive tackle monster, 6'7", 340-pound guy. And then Arkansas running back commitment, Jamarian Parker. He was in town, 6 foot, 190. Loved what he saw. He's gone on a little bit of a tear recently, like with some additional offers. So I think he's got some things to talk about. And then as we kind of turn the page back, just go to 2026 really quick. Jackson Cantwell, number one offensive tackle in the country, potentially, kind of a 5-star plus guy across the board with all three recruiting rankings folks. Mom is from Nebraska. This is his third visit to Nebraska. Great sign because now Georgia and Alabama and Nebraska, the three schools that he's visited 3 times apiece. He will be back, at some other point down the line. I think Nebraska's at least in a very good spot right now. They just got to show some more consistency, I think, for a couple of these higher profile guys. And then when you get a couple guys that are like bordering states, like in neighboring states, like what a Cantwell is, some special things can happen, like a Grant Bricks kind of situation. And I think that'd be pretty huge for Nebraska to be there for that, because it definitely seems like Cantwell isn't playing around and isn't kidding anybody. Nebraska's very much in the picture.
Okay, a couple things on Cantwell. I'm glad you brought him up. He was one of the guys I was going to ask you about specifically. You said Nebraska needs to be more consistent with some of these higher end guys. Is that coming from these recruits? They say like Nebraska's not following up with them enough. Nebraska is wishy-washy. What are you hearing when you say Nebraska needs to be more consistent with these top guys?
I'm going to say it's more about the performance of the team on the field. There is legitimately no questions about the staff, about the facilities, about the players, about the NIL. You can go ahead and take all those things and kind of put them into basically not a lot of other schools are going to beat Nebraska in any of those categories. They're certainly not going to beat Nebraska in all 4 or 5 of those categories that I just named off. But you had some inconsistencies on the football field. You're still looking for like an offensive lineman to kind of be that guy that you can circle and promote and show development inside the program. Nebraska needs some of those dudes, and they need to improve the win-loss record. They need to be able to show that they can go into the Big Ten and they're going to be able to hold their own. Those are very important things when it comes to these guys, because when you're considering Georgia, right, and you're going to be, and obviously Alabama's going to have some problems, I think, in year one just because of all the defections and everything like that. But they're going to get it figured out down there, sooner before other schools would be able to handle those mass defections. So you're going to have to compete with those guys in terms of win-loss. Where are you at, like within the rankings? Where are you at within, the scale of trying to win the conference? And of course, how close are you getting to being in the college football playoffs?
How would you compare Cantwell to like a Brandon Baker, who we know took some visits to Nebraska last cycle?
Yeah, good question. And I've said this before. I don't think that they compare very well, and here's why. I stood next to Baker. I'm a 6'2.5" guy, and Baker was about 1.5 inches taller than I was. So that doesn't always scream offensive tackle. He's definitely got offensive tackle feet. I don't think he has an offensive tackle body. I think that's a guy that when he ends up getting to Austin, they will find a way to get him into the rotation. But I think he's going to be playing inside. I don't think he has that ideal bookend offensive tackle size and length. I think that people are kind of looking for. Jackson Cantwell, on the other hand, he does. That's a 6'6.5", 6'7", 305-pound, like 16-year-old kid, and he is incredibly powerful. You can go through all of his social media on Twitter and check out like what he's doing lifting. That kid's moving weight. And like I said, he's a young guy. He's a really high-end track and field guy too. He's a thrower. I just think he's a special athlete. I think he has kind of that prototypical length that you look for and the athleticism that you look for when it comes to playing the tackle position. And I don't think you're going to get into a situation where you're having to debate whether or not he's, can play tackle. I think you're going to look at him and go, he checks the box based on his length and his arms and his athleticism. So Baker probably will take some convincing. He's not going to be that prototypical guy just because of his height.
Circling back to Chase Lofton, how similar or different are he and Carter Nelson? And I mean that in the sense of, does Nebraska have the playbook for what it takes to convince Lofton to stay in state, or can you throw that playbook out the window? It's a whole different recruitment style with Chase Lofton.
No, they've got some similarities, right? They're both kind of undersized when it comes to playing the tight end position currently. They're about the same height. but I think, Carter's probably got him by about 10 pounds or so. Carter, we would all agree, while he, towers kind of over the other wide receivers that either you saw in the Polynesian Bowl or you saw in the All-American game, when you really kind of look at him then next to like a tackle and playing more of a hand in the dirt tight end spot, he's not really that guy. And I don't think anybody really kind of intends for Carter to be that guy. And nobody would either with Chase. Chase is going to be, kind of a hybrid, flex style tight end, maybe a guy that they'll motion around a little bit, maybe even a guy that's going to be like a Keelan Smith that really will be more in the wide receiver room as a freshman, and then potentially see where his body kind of takes him. He has got a wide receiver skill set. He's got great soft hands. He moves incredibly well. He's a decent enough route runner to where you can go ahead and say something like that. And he's a great athlete. And I think that those things right there are very similar to Carter. I think that, people have been judging Carter because of, hey, he doesn't play 11-man football. It's a huge jump to Big Ten. Well, you just saw what he did in the Polynesian Bowl. That was against some of the nation's best kind of recruits with his future quarterback. I think Nebraska needs to have a plan. And I think that they have to have a plan about how to kind of bring him along. I think that Chase Lofton would be a very similar scenario. I think he would come in. He would be an exceptional athlete. I think he would show that he was ready, that he had a skill set that maybe doesn't end up being what you're kind of envisioning it to be, 2 or 3 years down the road. But he's too good, basically, to leave laying around. You have to get him, start using him right now, and then kind of develop him into that longer term vision down the road. That's similar to Carter. And I do feel like they are kind of a similar guy. Carter's just, I think, a little bit more put together, a little bit heavier right now, but Chase can be there in a year.
The other guy I want to ask you about that stood out to me from junior day, Brian, was at the running back position. Does Ethan Walker, talk about a bordering state, a guy from down Raymore Peculiar in Missouri. That's a top 50 national guy, 5'11", 190. How serious is Nebraska on him and vice versa?
Very, very. That was one of the first guys I caught up with on Saturday night. Loved his visit. The coaches have made such an impression on him and his parents and his family and as a whole. I think that they are really eyes open to the whole possibility that Nebraska could be a real contender for their child. He's, a good size back, like you said, he's a 2026 guy. So he's, you're looking at a guy that's got a couple more years. He'll only be a junior in the fall. Very productive season last year. Came from the same high school as the tight end that went to Alabama, Jaden Burdell. So it's a successful place that turns out a lot of Division I talent, and he's kind of the latest in this long run of Division I guys. But he could be very, very special, and I think Nebraska has got their eyes on him to kind of be that top guy in the 2026 class.
Anything else about junior day we didn't hit, Brian?
I think that everybody that still likes to go there, they're still seeing more bits and pieces of like the facilities opening up and things that are brand new. Everybody is just blown away by all of the things that they're seeing there in the facilities. People love going to the game at the PBA on Saturday night. I think there'll be another junior day this weekend. I don't know a lot about who's going to be there. We only know the few guys that are going to be there in town right now. So just stay tuned and we'll see what else happens this weekend. And then obviously there's an official visitor in town too. They'll be going tomorrow morning, I believe. So yeah, a couple more things to kind of get through over the next week or so.
There you go. We'll try to have you on next week to recap it. In the meantime, though, we would like to direct people to Husker Online, part of the On3 network. Check out Brian's work there. Of course, you have plenty of Brian's coworkers on our airwaves as well. They do great work over there. Could not recommend that subscription more. Brian, as always, appreciate the time. We'll catch up after Junior Day 2.0 next week.
Wonderful. Talk to you next week.
There he is. Brian joins us on our VIP line brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. It's therapy time. Jay Foreman in the building. 2 good weekends in a row. We'll talk him through his tough weekend as part of the crossover next.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com. Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
It's pro time, Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, are about to hit the court. Mark your calendars for January 24th at 7 p.m. when we host the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match against the Atlanta Vibe at the CHI Health Center. Witness world-class talent, including national champions and Olympians. Don't wait. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com and become a part of history.
Healing the heart takes heart. Our dedicated team of cardiac experts is here for you with breakthrough treatments for serious conditions and expert advice for living longer with a healthier heart. We bring healing care to our community with over 90 cardiology specialists and subspecialists and more than 50 locations across Nebraska, Southwest Iowa, and northern Kansas. Find out how we heal hearts with heart, starting with yours at chihealth.com/heart.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. Hurry, this deal ends soon. See Home Club for details.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting cloudy skies with patchy fog developing later. We'll see a high of around 35. Tonight, a chance of wintry mixed fog and freezing fog expecting too. We'll see a low around 30. And tomorrow, more cloud cover with calm winds. We'll see a high of around 35. Meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round. And their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back one final time on the block. Austin Strick joined by Jay Foreman. Jay, you're in all black. Are you in a state of mourning?
Yes. I'm devastated.
Our condolences.
Man,
I'm devastated.
I felt bad, bro. I really did, because I knew I almost texted you. I just said, no, I'm going to let him, do like I do, be drowning in my sorrows sometimes. Just let that thing marinate.
Well, the Baltimore game, I felt like it was just a matter of time because Houston couldn't get anything going naturally on offense.
They kind of ran out of answers.
Well, just in the first half, you got to think they went in 10-10. Defense had, it withstood the first wave of Baltimore. They got a great staff to make adjustments, but Houston hadn't done anything offensively substantially. Now they had the kickoff or punt return. And the funny thing about it is, in the pocket, this is how good the Baltimore coaching staff is. They realized in the pocket, CJ Stroud was destroying them. 13 of 15. So outside the pocket, he was like 2 or 3 or 4 of like 9 or 10, like way lower. That's how they were able to stymie the offense. And you aren't going to be able to run against Baltimore. So it's kind of running out of necessity, just to kind of going through the motion. So then, look, a good team, second half to get opportunity, 21-0. And they're at home. Lamar started getting busy. They started to get the ball closer to, closer to the 50. Couple first downs, explosive play, touchdown. That's fine. The Buffalo game is probably more disappointing. Number one, this is Josh Allen's 0-3 against the Chiefs in the playoffs. Every single one of those games, the rest of the team has let Josh Allen down. The rest of the team. Right?
Okay.
He has...
Going back for the last 3
years in the playoffs.
2020, 2021 divisional round, and then this year.
Yeah. Played. No, was it his best game? No, but big game Gabe Davis is out, who usually he's the chief killer. He's out. Knox hasn't been healthy. Played no turnovers, very spectacular game. Counted for 3 touchdowns. Now, granted,
didn't lose that fumble, so it doesn't count as a mark against him.
Was patient. That's been his Achilles heel. You got to think the 2 drops by number 11 were costly. You have to make those. I don't care. You make those. Stephon Diggs with 2 drops. The big one. See, that's the difference. What people don't understand. Even if you look at Nebraska when I was here, right? That's where you're able to create a legacy, right? You talk about Jordan all the time, right? Right? Even LeBron. Now, granted, it is like, think about Jordan deferring to Paxson and Kerr. Was it 3 of his championships? I know at least 2 of them, right?
Okay.
Yeah, Kerr hit that one from the wing.
Bang, bang. Now, granted, with Chicago, when they, when Jordan hit the shot against Utah,
Byron Russell,
right? They would have probably won Game 7. That's a signature play, right? Because the pitcher is phenomenal. But just think, if Kerr or Paxton misses those shots, right? And just say, let's just play devil's advocate.
Just to be honest,
they don't win the championship.
Fact.
So he goes from 6-0 to 4-2, right? That changes Jordan's legacy and the Chicago Bulls.
That's a
right?
fact.
Because at the end of the day, if I had to bet my last $5 on all the championship teams from the very first one to the end, I don't care who it is, I'm putting my money on the Chicago Bulls. That team with Jordan and any of those Jordan teams. Probably the more, with the Kukoc, Rodman, and those, I felt like that team was really, really loaded. I think when they first were winning championships, they weren't. I mean, you got to think Jordan mentally was in a different place. So then you think about Josh Allen, plays a really good game.
Gotcha.
The last 2 ones, unstoppable. That one 2 years ago that the Chiefs, that's on Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott. This game here, Sean McDermott calls a fake punt on your 20-some yard line against Patrick Mahomes. I don't care that they've been kicking field goals. I don't care if they had 10 guys on there. You don't call that. That early in the second half, the game's tied.
It's crazy.
Right?
That was crazy.
You didn't make it. This isn't Disney. This isn't, we're going to have DeMar Hamlin doing it. It's going to be a great story. Your careers are on the line.
Fact.
Your salary cap is jacked up.
Not just legacies for top players, careers.
For all those guys on that roster, you expose them. Yes, you got lucky in a matter of inches that
you got the fumble and it didn't hurt you.
Well, Reed tried to coach Kansas City out of that game.
Hartman, the ball goes out in the end zone.
Barely.
Barely.
That's a lucky play.
That's a lucky play.
You're
Real
lucky that happened. Okay, you got off on it. Okay, now let's talk about Stephon Diggs. You start the season off, right? Now, granted, he should have been mad that they didn't get D-Hop. Okay, if they made empty promises. That has nothing to do with Josh Allen. You were calling out your quarterback all the way back against Cincinnati last year. Now, did Josh Allen play his best against Cincinnati? No. But did he play losing football? No. The defense has not stepped up. Now you go and you drop the ball in the breadbasket. It's a perfect pass.
Perfect.
55 yards in the air.
You've got to catch.
You
that.
got to get that. Yeah.
On top of defensively, you're supposed to. 2 years ago, you probably had the best safety combination. Now Poyer played well. Micah Hyde. You can't give up a 3rd and 17 down the gut, man. And in one high, he's running in the mid between the hashes.
That's your area,
right? Hello, you just watching the dude? Yeah, I mean, so that's where it was frustrating. And I've been on that side. Music City Miracle. I'm telling you, we win that game. I like our chances better against Jacksonville. We already beat the brakes off them. That was the championship game right there. They go on, and we had already beat the Rams earlier, and we beat them in the preseason. Now, granted, things are different, but you like your chances, right? Things that coaches do can sometimes mess up legacies. You do that. Buffalo's was cursed ever since then. Bruce DeHaven fell on the sword for it. I will tell you, he didn't do it. So now, next thing you know, instead of having a Super Bowl ring, AFC Championship run, now here comes Greg Williams a year or two later, probably a year or two early, right? Once you get a new coach, back then, they blow up the whole team. Bruce Smith wants out. Thurman Thomas wants out. Andre Reed wants out. Marcellus Wiley wants out. Pat Williams wants out. Ted Washington wants out. All those guys go on and win Super Bowls and go on to more of the franchises. And heck, John Butler, who got fired unjustly, right, because of it, who's the GM, he's the one that made the LaDainian Tomlinson trade to get LaDainian and all them guys out there. He was our GM in Buffalo. That's the thing that probably irks me the most, because there's a lot of guys on that roster and that are collateral damage that don't have the power or the longevity left in their career to really change where it could go after that loss.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Adding to, I don't mean this to pile on, but adding to the point of Buffalo doing it to itself.
That kicker.
Well, the kicker, but also
look at straight.
Buffalo.
Wide right.
Buffalo let Kansas City make that trade for Mahomes.
Yeah, they did.
That has nothing to do with Josh Allen. But people keep bringing that up, and like it is all self-inflicted at this point.
Listen, man, you lose by 3, and Patrick Mahomes comes back. Yeah. It's. I mean, listen, Patrick Mahomes. Nobody. It's just like Tom Brady, but it's different. Patrick Mahomes had next level potential, right? Coming out of college.
Yeah.
Traits. Nobody knew he was going to be this great or to this magnitude, but he got with Andy Reid. It's the combination, man. I'm telling you, it's so important for quarterbacks. You got Andy Reid that's been through it with a generational type of quarterback.
It's like Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll. Perfect combination.
Yeah.
Andy Reid, Donovan McNabb. You got to think, Andy Reid had enough confidence in himself, probably from coaching Brett Favre way back in the day, literally, saying they drafted Donovan McNabb and the Philly fans booed. He's probably the best quarterback in Eagles history. Without right?
Sorry, Jaws, but yeah.
Him and Jaws, right?
Him, Jaws, maybe Cunningham.
Okay. So your top 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nick Foles had the best single game, but not
in the best run.
Yeah.
Then he comes and he's like, all right, I see even better talent in Mahomes. And we got Alex Smith. You got to think. Sitting here.
Former number 1 overall
Pro Bowl. He took
Mm-hmm.
Alex Smith and resurrected his career. Seriously.
That's a fact.
He did.
After the concussion in San Francisco, everyone thought he was done.
He goes to Kansas City, looks like a totally different quarterback, and then he goes, I think he was playing with Washington, right? He went there
after.
Yeah, after signed a huge deal.
Yeah.
Totally
it's crazy. Kansas City seems to be the place where resurrection happens.
Well, it's not
because Montana and guys that have all gone in there just seemed to have been a revamping of their career. Well, I'm just throwing it out.
You're right. Yeah. I mean, but you have to have the right structure, GM, ownership. Andy Reid is huge.
Yeah.
Where he's I mean, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. So then you got Mahomes. I don't think the trade really factored in. I think the biggest thing who Buffalo got out of it hasn't really flourished, right? White has been injury prone. I think Dean has been okay. And then the other, I forget who was the other guys in it. And
that's part of the problem. You don't know their names.
Exactly. Whereas Mahomes, you got to think, Chicago Bears are probably kicking themselves even worse because they could have drafted him. Whereas Buffalo made a trade that they felt like they needed because you needed defensive help. You got a defensive coach. Buffalo's got they got serious salary cap issues. And when you got Stephon Diggs, when you missed that play, you know it's strict. That's the lasting impression that them dudes upstairs are seeing.
Remember.
And when I'm paying you that type of money, in our franchise quarterback is taking some hits on the chin, and he drops it in the bucket. Well, you know it's strict. I'm paying you too much. Okay, it'd be like this. It'd be like you're paying. Steve Nash was probably getting paid a lot when you were with him, right? Or Jason Kidd?
Probably Jason Kidd.
Okay, Jason Kidd. So say whoever is paying Jason Kidd, and he gets to the free throw line. He's the point guard. You know, in the NBA, you a point guard, you got to be able to hit free throws down the stretch. And he has, like Nick Anderson.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
You're a guard, and you can't hit a free throw. Well, next thing you know, the moving trucks is coming. Hey, Zillow, you be looking at Zillow.com. Right? Be honest with you, Strick. Straight up.
I can't with this.
Hey,
dude.
man. And then my man Tyler. And then here's what made me mad about kickers, man.
Strick be looking right over there for property.
There's only right. That's where you be living too, right? Be out, right? Be in a storage unit. Be looking. Listen, there's only one kicker that I like. Like Steve Christie, I trusted. Adam Vinatieri, you trust. Chris Brown in college, I trust. And anyone else in the pros. For that dude to get up there and talk about I ain't judged the left and right win, boy, you done sliced everything that you did all day. You need to be aiming at that left upright. And let it slide back in there like a jelly fade off the tee. You seen the jelly fade, right?
I see
right?
it.
When you hang it out over the tree and it just bop, bop. Yeah, he tried to hit it the same. You did. Are you kidding me?
Kickers, man. Kickers.
Nah, and hey, special teams. You got to be special to play special teams, man.
He was sick. You saw they showed the back of his helmet. He was.
Oh yeah, I feel bad. I mean,
he was sick.
It don't come down to one play because I feel like the defense with the opportunities they had against this Kansas City offense let themselves down. Now, injury plagued or not, you got to show up and play. And the guys that were the veteran safeties didn't play well. And then now guess what? Those exit meetings.
Woo.
This is your last exit.
I see more NFL playoffs, maybe some Husker hoops on old school.
Yeah, this is your final chapter.
Yeah.
This is your final chapter. And we're going to talk a little bit, man, about Jim Harbaugh. Even though khaki pants don't, blow the bathroom up and then wash his hands. I've heard a little rumor that he might be trying to go. He might be flying in there to Buffalo.
Oh,
he might like some Molson Light.
Oh,
okay.
There it is.
That'll be old school.
Inside school.
Yeah.
Jay Foreman,
Let's
DP
go.
coming up next. Stricky.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Mañana.
For Strick on Boston, old school. Next.
Does that mean tomorrow?
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round. And their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car and your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also